The House will come to order. Members will be at their seats. The clerk has opened the roll, and you may record your presence. Please rise and give your attention to the House Chaplain and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Representative Hoffman.
Let us pray. Loving and merciful God, you have chosen to love us. You have chosen us to be holy people. Your word tells us to clothe ourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So today and in the coming weeks, help us to clothe ourselves with mercy instead of vengeance, kindness instead of indifference, patience instead of impatience. Help us to place these virtues in our hearts, minds, attitudes, words, and actions. Make us ambassadors of humility, justice, and mercy. In your name I pray, amen. I know everybody.
Everybody.
We're all mourning something. I don't know what.
There is an introduction.
Have all members had an opportunity to record their presence? The clerk will close the roll and record the attendance. Introduction of bills and concurrent resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill number 2452 by the Committee on Taxation, an act concerning sales and compensating use tax relating to motor vehicles, sourcing sales of motor vehicles to location of vehicle registration.
Messages from the Senate. The clerk will read.
The Senate concurs in House Amendment Senate Bill 63, requests return of the bill. Senate concurs in House Amendments to Senate Bill 99, requests return of the bill. Announcing passage of Senate Bill 2. Thank you. Announcing passage of House Bill 2102 as amended by Senate Substitute for House Bill 2102. Announcing passage of House Bill 2137 as amended. House Bill 2178 as amended. Announcing passage of House Bill 2172 and 2270. The Senate non-concurs in House Amendments Senate Bill 36. Requests a conference as appointed Senators Peterson, Clays, and Hawk. Senate non-concurs in House Amendment Senate Bill 55, requests a conference as appointed Senators Baumgardner, Erickson, and Tykes. Senate non-concurs in House Amendment Senate Bill 86, requests a conference as appointed Senators Longbine, Fagg, and Pittman as conferees on the part of the Senate. Senate Bill number 2 by Senator McGinn, an act concerning the Kansas State Fair relating to alcoholic liquor, sales during the state fair, issue of temporary permits, liquor enforcement tax, and liquor drink tax, crediting a portion of such tax monies collected to the State Fair Capital Improvements Fund.
Speaker recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion to accede.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate did not concur in the House amendments to Senate Bill 36. I move the House accede to the request of the Senate and that a conference committee be appointed.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion passes. As conferees on the part of the House, the Speaker appoints Representatives Prail, Delperdang, and Helgerson. Speaker recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion to accede.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate did not concur in the House amendments to Senate Bill 86. I move the House accede to the request of the Senate and that a conference committee be appointed.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion passes. As conferees on the part of the House, the Speaker appoints Representatives Johnson, Stephen Johnson, Representative Croft, and Representative Neighbor. The time now having arrived for the special order of business, presentation of Executive Reorganization Order 47 and adoption of H.R. 6009. The clerk will read.
House Resolution 6009 by the Committee on Appropriations, a resolution disapproving Executive Reorganization Order Number 47, renaming the Kansas Department for Children and Families the Kansas Department of Human Services, and abolishing the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services, and transferring powers, duties, and functions to the Kansas Department of Human Services.
The Speaker recognizes Representative Will Carpenter for a motion on H.R. 6009.
Good morning, colleagues. How are we doing today? I move the adoption of House Resolution 6009, a resolution disapproving the Executive Reorganization Number 47, renaming the Kansas Department of Children and Families the Kansas Department of Human Services, and abolishing the Department of Aging and Disability Services, and transferring powers, duties, and functions to the Kansas Department of Human Services. We've been here before. It's a bad idea last year, and it's a bad idea this year. No cost savings, no efficiencies, only a bigger agency with more bureaucracy and less accountability. I'll stand for questions.
Is there discussion? Representative Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I'm opposed to H.R. 6009. Yes, we have been here before. And when we were here last year, it also included juvenile justice and corrections. And there was quite a bit of objection to that. And this year, I think in the reorganization, that was left out of it. But I think we had explanations from the Secretary about why they wanted to change these names, why they would abolish KDATs, and why they thought it would be more effective. I will only add the comment, having been here through many sessions, I have seen EROs before, and most of them, I cannot say every single one of them because I can't remember how many we have had, but most of them were accepted. And I think it was because the governor wanted it, and that's how we went with it. For whatever reason, this is the second one, and it is unacceptable. And usually the governor has that privilege, and it is supported. I will simply say, I think this is disappointing, and if other governors have had it, this governor should have it as well. I'm opposed to it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Carpenter, you may close on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Not going to be long on words today. I'll save that for my counterparts. I've asked the Secretary numerous times, who is over both agencies, what barriers exist in these agencies to keep them from working together. No answer. I maintain she has the authority to do many of these collaborative efforts without combining agencies or their budgets. With that, remember, a yes vote disapproves, a no vote approves. I move adoption of H.R. 6009.
Body, a reminder that the resolution disapproves of the executive reorganization order. So a yes vote on the resolution will deny the reorganization, while a no vote would allow the reorganization to go forward. With that, you have heard the motion, and the clerk will open the roll so that you may record your vote. Representative Smith votes aye. Clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Representative Carpenter, we're still on final action. Members will be in their seats. Seeing no explanations or changes of vote, 84 having voted in favor and 38 against the passage of House Resolution 6009, the same having received a constitutional majority, the resolution is adopted. The clerk will record the vote. Final action on bills and concurrent resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2150 by the Committee on Children and Seniors, an act concerning dependent persons relating to the reporting of abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation of such persons, requiring additional persons to be mandatory reporters, providing a definition of financial exploitation.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2150. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote or get back to their seat? Clerk will close the roll. Representative O'Hobson votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 118 having voted in favor and 4 against the passage of House Bill 2150, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 37 by the Committee on Insurance, an act concerning insurance relating to producer licensing requirements, agent conduct pertaining to examination fees, renewal date, suspension, revocation, or denial of licensure, licensure renewal.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 37. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Every member had an opportunity to record their vote. The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none. 109 having voted in favor and 13 against the passage of Senate Bill 37, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 58 by the Committee on Judiciary, an act concerning liens or claims against real or personal property relating to prohibitions on certain filings, notice, and criminal penalties.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 58. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 122 having voted in favor and 0 against the passage of Senate Bill 58, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 103 by the Committee on Judiciary, an act concerning the Kansas Power of Attorney Act relating to the effectiveness of a power of attorney, exemption of third persons from liability in certain circumstances.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 103. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Representative O'Hobson votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 122 having voted in favor and 0 against the passage of Senate Bill 103, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 107 by the Committee on Judiciary, enacting the Uniform Fiduciary Income and Principal Act, repealing the Uniform Principal and Income Act of 1997.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 107. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Representative O'Hobson votes aye. Representative Wassinger votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 122 having voted in favor and 0 against the passage of Senate Bill 107, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill Number 175 by the Committee on Public Health and Welfare, an act concerning health and health care relating to hospitals and healthcare-related facilities, establishing rural emergency hospitals as rural healthcare licensure category, requirements for licensure, enacting the Rural Emergency Hospital Act, providing grant assistance to hospitals in certain counties, prescribing powers, duties, and functions of the Secretary of Health and Environment related thereto, establishing the Rural Hospital Innovation Grant Program and Rural Hospital Innovation Grant Fund.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 175. The clerk will open the roll, and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Representative Thompson votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 119 having voted in favor and 3 against the passage of Senate Bill 175, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Substitute Senate Bill Number 238 by the Committee on Public Health and Welfare, an act concerning health and health care relating to credentialing of health professionals and facilities, certification and funding of certified community behavioral health clinics, prescribing powers, duties, functions of the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services and the Department of Health and Environment related thereto, authorizing the issuance of telemedicine waivers for out-of-state health care providers relating to professions regulated by the Behavioral Sciences Regulatory Board, reducing certain licensing requirements, expanding temporary practice permits, and the board's grounds for discipline.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 238. The clerk will open the roll, and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Representative Reichman on an explanation of vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I vote yes on Senate Bill 238. This is a monumental step and will ensure that more Kansans can receive timely, high-quality mental health services. This matters for our children suffering from anxiety while waiting for school to return to normal. This matters for our veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder after bravely serving our country. This matters for our farmers and ranchers suffering from increased rates of depression, fearing the loss of their family farm. This matters for our friends and neighbors who are suffering from addictions and are prepared to walk through the doorway to recovery.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Are there any further explanations of vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 121 having voted in favor and 1 against the passage of Senate Bill 238, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. The Speaker recognizes Representative Croft for a motion to non-concur on House Bill 2066.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to non-concur with the conference report for substitute, House Substitute 2066, and I move that a House, move that a House Conference Committee be appointed.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Representative Clayton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I support the motion. Thank you.
Body, a reminder as we head into debate that the mics do not seem to be working all that well. Please make sure, probably talk into the right-hand microphone. We are trying to get the volume turned up. Representative Clayton, for those of you who could not hear it, indicated that she had no objection to the motion. Is there any further discussion on the Croft motion to non-concur and that a conference committee be appointed on House Bill 2066? Seeing none. You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Speaker appoints Representatives Tarwater, Croft, and Clayton as conferees on the part of the House. Speaker recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion to resolve into the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the purpose of considering those items under the heading of General Orders.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The Speaker appoints Representative Concurrent to chair the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Good morning. The first item of business is Senate Bill 38. For the purpose of carrying Senate Bill 38, the chair recognizes Representative Eric Smith.
Chair, there were committee amendments. I move adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes. The committee report is adopted.
All right, so sets up the Kansas Department of Agriculture to create a fund. I should probably get straight to the fiscal note, which is unaffected. Actually, what they're going to do is they're going to move funds from the remediation fund that already exists into a fund for pesticide waste disposal, thereby creating a fund to help take care of those pesticide wastes that sit out and about in our rural areas and have them destroyed. The bill would authorize $50,000 in any calendar year to be moved. It would require the Secretary to submit to the board on or before January 1st of each year a report regarding the annual expenditures made from the program. The committee did make a technical change about publication. The bill was supported by most everyone in Kansas agriculture, Kansas Agribusiness Retailers Association, the Kansas Cooperative Council, Kansas Department of Agriculture, Kansas Grain and Feed, Kansas Association of Wheat Growers, Corn Growers, Department of Health and Environment, Kansas Farm Bureau, Kansas Sorghum Producers, Kansas Soybean Association, and the Sierra Club. And I will stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Carlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was only a minor change in the bill from the last time we saw it. It probably wasn't necessary. We did change it also to be published in the, become effective on the date of the publication in the Kansas Register. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Smith, you may close.
Thank you. It does look very similar to a bill we've already passed out of the House, and that's because it's very similar. So, also it has nothing to do with the state fire marshal. So I ask that when the committee rises and it reports SB 38 favorable for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Smith to report Senate Bill 38 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 66. For the purpose of carrying Senate Bill 66, the chair recognizes Representative Owens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments. I move adoption of the committee report as amended.
You have heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted. Please continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, Senate Bill 66 comes to us from Commerce and is identical to House Bill 2045 that was passed by this House 22 days ago by a vote of 112 to 11. The bill will revise the Kansas Angel Investor Tax Credit by extending the sunset on the program from tax year 21 to 26, amending applicable definitions, removing certain program restrictions, and increasing program tax credit amounts and annual program limits. Madam Chair, I would be happy to review this bill again if members have questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ooh, I love saying that. As before, when this came before the body previously, I stand in strong support of this, and I urge the body to support it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there further discussion? If there's no further discussion, Representative Owens, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that when the committee rises and reports, it reports SB 66 favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Owens to report Senate Bill 66 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 53. For the purpose of carrying Senate Bill 53, the chair recognizes, excuse me. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In accordance with House Rule 1903, I move Senate Bill 53, appearing under the order of business general orders, be passed over and retain a place on the calendar.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 89. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 89, the chair recognizes Representative Newland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. SB 89 came to us through the Senate Ag and Natural Resources Committee and of course through the House Ag Committee. A bill not requiring the securing loads of loose livestock forage commodities such as silage or routine farm use. What this bill does would amend law on securing...
Representative, excuse me, it appears there were committee amendments.
I'm sorry. Madam Chair, there were committee amendments. I move their committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted. Please continue.
Thank you. Sorry about that. SB 89 would amend law on securing loads on vehicles to create an exemption for trucks, trailers, and semi-truck trailers when hauling ag forage commodities intrastate from the place of production to the marketplace or the place of storage. The bill would state that this exemption would not apply to trucks, trailers, or semi-trailers hauling hay or any packaged commodities. Continuing law requires securing a load on a vehicle so as to prevent any of this load from dropping, spilling, or leaking, or otherwise escaping. This would allow an exemption for certain farm use trucks and the carrying of these loose materials from field to storage. There was a technical amendment in committee, and with that, I'll stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Estes. The chair recognizes Representative Carlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Apparently some of the law enforcement agencies got a little aggressive, and we needed to give the haulers a little more latitude on this. And this is just in close proximity from field to sale or use. So I think it's a good bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Newland, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also enjoy saying that. As the representative said, this is the time during harvest of these forage commodities. It's not, it's very seasonal. It's very short trips. And this just allows them not to have to tarp that load, to get from the field to the place of storage. So with that, Madam Chair, I move that when the committee rises and reports, it reports SB 89 favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Newland to report Senate Bill 89 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 65. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 65, the chair recognizes Representative Hsu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments. I move adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted.
Thank you. SB 65 contains the provisions of two bills, both related to the High Performance Incentive Program, or HPIP. HPIP is considered one of the state's more valuable incentives, with the last post-audit review finding a 56-to-1 return on investment. The first is identical to HB 2097, which we passed earlier this month, 124-0. It just decouples the Kansas Industrial Training Program, or KIT, or the Kansas Industrial Retraining Program, or KER, as a method to qualify for the HPIP tax credit. The second provision adds in the contents of SB 91, which passed the Senate 34-5. This would allow a company to transfer up to 50% of the tax credits received from the HPIP to another company or individual per year. If the transferee's tax liability is less than the amount transferred, they would be allowed to carry forward the credits for up to 16 years. Proponents generally say that HPIP is a very effective program and that transferability was necessary to compete with other states who offer a similar provision. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The carrier of the bill did an excellent job describing the policy, and I urge your support. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there further discussion? The chair recognizes Representative Tarwater.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too agree. It's a good bill. We'd like your support on it, and let's improve the representative's batting average a little bit.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Hsu, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that when the committee rises and reports that report SB 65 favorable for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Hsu to report Senate Bill 65 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 52. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 52, the chair recognizes Representative Collins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are no committee amendments to Senate Bill 52.
Please continue.
Senate Bill 52 would allow Sedgwick County to enact a nuisance abatement process. Before any nuisance abatement process shall be commenced under this act, Sedgwick County shall have first obtained a conviction for a county code violation resulting from such nuisance within a 12-month period prior to the issuance of any order as provided in Section 2, amendments thereto. And Senate Bill 52 would exempt land, structures, machinery and equipment, or vehicles used for agricultural activity from the Nuisance Abatement Act. And counties do not have authority to regulate without legislative statute. And Sedgwick County has approximately 40,000 people living outside the city limits. As a result, the nuisance properties that Sedgwick County receives the most complaints about are not isolated farmhouses, but rather homes and neighborhoods with residences in close proximity to one another. And this act will sunset on July 1st, 2024, unless there's more action taken in the Senate 29-9. And in committee, proponents were Jim Howell, who is the Sedgwick County Commissioner, and Christopher Lambrum from the Sedgwick County Area Building and Construction Department. And with that, and neutral testimony was Randy Stuckey, Kansas Grain and Feed Association, Kansas Agribusiness Retailers Association, and Renew Kansas Biofuels Association. And with that, I will stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I rise in support of this bill. A couple of things that I just want to reiterate. The representative did a very good job in explaining what the contents are, but just a couple of things that I want to emphasize is that this is not a new issue. We have heard this before generally, and this year it came forward to us with language where there were no opponents. So the ag industry people were neutral on the bill, and so they had worked with this language to be something that they could accept. The other thing I want to say is that there is a 3-year sunset on it, so if this doesn't work, in 3 years, they will have to come back and make the case to continue this. So it does give us a chance to review to make sure that this is indeed a policy that does work. And, you know, it fits with our local control. We expect our local units of government to be laboratories of experiment, to try things. And if it does work, then it can be adopted in other places. So anyway, I think it's a great idea that we let them try this and see if it works and helps to abate those really bad properties that are in the unincorporated areas in our urban counties, or actually this just applies to Sedgwick County. So I urge your support. Thank you very much.
For further discussion, the chair recognizes Representative Hubert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I used to chair local government. This is an issue that's been around a long time. And I have tried to work on compromises in the past, and maybe this is a good compromise. I still have concerns because of property rights. And property rights are very important. We should never discount them. I appreciate, the previous speaker talked about a trial. You know, the problem with a bill like this is it can be abused very easily in determining who decides what is a nuisance, and then when neighbors start fighting with neighbors, and it can just get out of hand. Out in the county where you're separated by distance, I guarantee you this is very unpopular. In rural areas, I think in other counties where you don't have the urban influence, it's probably not real popular either. I do like the sunset because if counties start abusing this, we'll find out real quickly, I guarantee you. And so, you know, vote your conscience on this issue. The potential for I'm from the government and I'm here to help is always a concern that we should be cognizant of. And, you know, I would, like I said, just wanted to have that discussion. My wife's a realtor, and as a realtor, this is an issue that they take very seriously, you know, because it impacts property values for neighbors. So there's balance that we have to look at. I appreciate you allowing me to speak to this issue, and I just wanted to make sure everybody's fully aware that, that this is an issue that needs to be considered very carefully. Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Collins, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as the representative from Valley Center pointed out, there are, you know, property rights, property owner rights. However, those same property owner same property owners should be protected from health and safety violations of their neighbors. And as it is now, counties don't have much teeth in enforcing code violations. So for that reason, I ask that Senate Bill 52 be excuse me, sorry. I move that when the committee rises and reports that Senate Bill 52 be voted on favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Collins to report Senate Bill 52 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 160. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 160, the chair recognizes Representative Fairchild.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments. I move the adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted.
SB 160 would amend current law by updating the reference to the guidelines of the American Fisheries Society from Special Publication Number 30 to Special Publication Number 35. The bill would update the valuation process for illegally commercialized fish and mussels and update the reference to the American Fisheries Society publications to the most recent special publication. Just to use an example of what this bill might be talking about, if you have a public river and somebody catches a whole bunch of fish in that river without a license and then they go and they sell the fish to somebody, that violates the law. And all this bill does is it simply increases the valuation for fish that are caught and that are illegally sold. And so it's just a very minor technical bill. It just makes this one very minor change. The proponents of the bill was the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. There were no opponents, so I'll stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Carlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The representative did a very fine job of explaining this bill. We do this every few years to catch up with the valuation of our fisheries and our wildlife that we control in Kansas, and I recommend that you support the bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Fairchild, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that when the committee rises and reports that we report SB 160 favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Fairchild to report Senate Bill 160 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 90. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 90, the chair recognizes Representative Ralph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments. I move the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted. Please continue.
Body, Senate Bill 90 amends the existing Rural Housing Incentive District Act. That, if you're interested, the act is found at KSA 12-5241 and the following statutes from there. The existing act, or this particular bill, would allow vertical renovations of certain buildings located in a central business district if those buildings exceed 25 years in age. The eligible improvements are limited to only those that would occur on a second floor or higher, and they have to be for a residential use. This particular bill was requested by the Department of Commerce. For those that might not be familiar, the Rural Housing Incentive District, or the RHID, is a program that's designed to aid developers in building housing within communities by assisting in financing public improvements. The original act was instituted in 1998. It's used in many rural communities around the state to address significant housing shortages. Matter of fact, in Dodge City, we've been using the program since 2008, and I was advised that to date, we have over 400 housing units built under this particular program, so it's been incredibly successful. This particular amendment would allow that program to be expanded into downtown business districts, where in many instances, in many communities, you've got second level and third levels of commercial buildings that can be renovated and revised into residential properties, and this particular program would assist in that fashion. At this point, I would stand for questions, Madam Chair.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Body, I do support this legislation, but I will add that I look forward to future years where we are considering legislation that also encourages more housing and revitalization of our urban areas. So expect to see that from us next session. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Ralph, you may close.
Madam Chair, I move that when the committee rises and report Senate Bill 90 favorable for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Ralph to report Senate Bill 90 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 143. For the purposes of carrying Senate Bill 143, the chair recognizes Representative Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was committee amendments. I move adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This morning I'm carrying Senate Bill 143, which would update and rearrange definitions regarding grain and grain warehouses, clarify when applicants for license should be made, remove a reference regarding an independent public accountant, clarify the fee for a functional unit license, and increase the maximum fee caps for storage fees. It would also increase the allowable examination period for grain warehouses and make technical changes. Again, this bill would clarify that any person desiring to engage in business as a public warehouse person would, before transacting business, apply in writing to the Secretary of Ag for a license. Such persons would be required to apply on an annual basis. Current law requires an applicant for a license to provide a financial statement to include certain documents, including a report of audit or review conducted by an independent certified public accountant. This bill would require a CPA versus an independent public accountant. Proponents to the bill were the Kansas Department of Agriculture, the Kansas Grain and Feed Association, Kansas Cooperative Council, and the Kansas Farm Bureau. There were no opponents. And with that, Madam Chair, I will stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Carlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We did have a good discussion about the requirement of a CPA, and agree with that change, and I appreciate this bill. The chairman did it, or the vice chair did it. Well, you're not the vice chair anymore. Representative did a fine job of explaining the bill better than I am doing to support it. However, we did make it officially changed to publication in the Kansas Register. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Thompson, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that when the committee rises and reports, it reports Senate Bill 143 as amended, favorable for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Thompson to report Senate Bill 143 favorably. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion passes. The next item of business is House Bill 2176. For the purpose of carrying House Bill 2176, the chair recognizes Representative Blex.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments, so I move the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted. Please continue.
This bill, House Bill 2176, comes from the local government, and basically what it would do is clean up statutory language that would make it easy for local citizens as well as elected officials to understand the process of something like a street vacation. The procedures that I've used by the cities to vacate streets have been largely unchanged for probably almost 100 years. And in addition, the procedures used when a governing body would like to vacate a street, the legislature also established a separate procedure when a citizen requests a street to be vacated. This bill will not change the law, but will clarify the procedure for both the cities and the citizens. House Bill 2176 will clarify vacation, annexation, and de-annexation procedures. There was some confusion after a 1984. We've had confusion for 53 years, imagine that. Modification by the legislatures, and some cities, smaller cities, were actually using the statute that was designed for citizens to petition to have a street closed. And so this bill will clean up that law and make it clear that KSA 1504 is to be used when a landowner petitions it, not a city. And there's some protection for the landowner. When the process is gone, they can petition to have it closed. And then if it's closed, once the governing body makes a decision, then the city can't come back and reopen that original land. So this was the same bill last year, passed the House 124-1 as House Bill 2583, but wasn't considered by Senate due to COVID issues. Proponents were Amanda Stanley, League of Kansas Municipalities. There were no opponents. And with that, Madam Chair, I'll stand for any questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this bill just makes it easier for everybody to understand what the law says. It just really is a cleanup bill to clarify the language, so I urge your support. Thank you very much.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Blex, you may close.
This is a good bill, and I think it will clarify the procedure a lot for both citizens and cities. And so, Madam Chair, when the procedure here for passing this bill, 2176, I move that we pass it favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Blex to report House Bill 2176 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is Senate Bill 142. For the purpose of carrying Senate Bill 142, the chair recognizes Representative Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There were committee amendments. I move adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes and the committee report is adopted. Please continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Senate Bill 142 comes to us from the Senate Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee, where it passed the Senate by a 36-3 vote. 142 codifies federal language and statute regarding Coast Guard approved flotation devices and requiring all children under 12 years of age to wear such a device under certain circumstances. 142 as amended would require an operator of any vessel to require every person on such a vessel aged 12 or younger to wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved flotation device while aboard or being towed by such a vessel unless such a person is below decks or in an enclosed cabin. The bill would require the Secretary of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism to promulgate rules and regulations regarding required personal flotation devices. Currently, a regulation of personal flotation devices is set in statute. The change is necessary because current federally approved personal flotation devices are not legal for use in Kansas until KSA 321129 is amended and the accompanying regulation is changed. There was one technical amendment to change the date to publication, and proponents were the where did I come from? Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. There was one neutral private citizen who offered testimony. There's no fiscal note, and for that I'll stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Carlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, this bill was amended in committee to put it in publication of the Kansas Register, as Representative said. He did a great job of explaining it. We have every few years, or every year, I guess, we have to update the flotation devices that are approved by the Coast Guard. This is just a job of the Wildlife, Parks, and Recreation Department, and we have to pass this so that we can get the right devices sold to the kids in our store, so they'll be wearing the updated devices. Thank you, Madam Chair. I support the motion.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Murphy, you may close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that when the committee rises and reports, they report SB 142 favorable for passage, as amended.
You've heard the motion by Representative Murphy to report Senate Bill 142 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. This concludes our general orders. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move we rise and report.
You've heard the motion to rise and report. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes.
The clerk will read the committee report.
Mr. Speaker, your committee of the whole recommends Senate Bill 52 be passed, House Bill 2176 and Senate Bills 38, 66, 89, 65, 160, 90, 143, and 142 be passed as amended. Senate Bill 53 be passed over and retain a place on the calendar.
Speaker recognizes Representative Concannon for a motion to adopt the committee of the whole report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the adoption of the committee report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. Speaker recognizes the majority leader for an introduction of an original motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to House Rule 2311, I move that an emergency be declared and that Senate Bill 38, Senate Bill 66, Senate Bill 89, Senate Bill 65, Senate Bill 52, Senate Bill 160, pardon me? Senate Bill 160, Senate Bill 90, Senate Bill 143, House Bill 2176, and Senate Bill 142 be advanced to that order of business final action on bills and concurrent resolutions.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. We shall proceed to emergency final action. Final action on bills and concurrent resolutions. Members will be in their seats. The clerk will read.
Senate Bill 38 by the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, an act concerning agriculture, relating to the environmental remediation, establishing the Kansas Pesticide Waste Disposal Program and the Kansas Pesticide Waste Disposal Fund, permitting annual transfers from the Kansas Agricultural Remediation Fund to the Kansas Pesticide Waste Disposal Fund.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 38. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Every member had an opportunity to record their vote. The clerk will close the roll. Representative Hubert votes aye. Representative Poskin votes aye. Representative Miller votes aye. Representative Adam Smith votes aye. Clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 121 having voted in favor and 1 against the passage of Senate Bill 38, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 66 by the Committee on Commerce, an act concerning income taxation relating to the Kansas Angel Investor Tax Credit Act, qualified securities, tax credit limitations and amounts, investor requirements, qualified Kansas business designation requirements, bioscience businesses, program expiration date, expenditures to make principal dwelling accessible to persons with a disability.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 66. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Representative Helgerson votes present. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 109 having voted in favor, 12 against the passage of Senate Bill 66, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 89 by the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, an act concerning traffic regulations relating to size and weight laws, exempting the transport of agricultural forage commodities from the secured load statute.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 89. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 122 having voted in favor and 0 against the passage of Senate Bill 89, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 65 by the Committee on Commerce, an act concerning economic development relating to the High Performance Incentive Fund, workforce training program participation requirements, transferability of tax credits.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 65. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Representative Barker votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 121 having voted in favor and 1 against the passage of Senate Bill 65, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill 52 by the Committee on Ways and Means, an act establishing the Sedgwick County Urban Area Nuisance Abatement Act.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 52. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Representative O'Habasam votes aye. Representative Carmichael votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Representative Samsel votes aye. Representative Tarwater votes no. Representative Kelly votes aye. Are there any further changes of vote? Seeing none, 80 having voted in favor and 42 against the passage of Senate Bill 52, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 160 by the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, an act concerning wildlife parks and tourism relating to the commercialization of wildlife, updating the reference to the guidelines of the American Fisheries Society.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 160. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Representative Adam Smith votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 120 having voted in favor and 2 against the passage of Senate Bill 160, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 90 by the Committee on Commerce, an act concerning the Kansas Rural Housing Incentive District Act, amending the definition of city, permitting the use of bond proceeds, vertical renovations of certain buildings for residential purposes.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 90. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Every member had an opportunity to record their vote. The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 105 having voted in favor and 17 against the passage of Senate Bill 90, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 143 by the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, an act concerning agriculture relating to grain warehouses, updating definitions, increasing maximum functional unit license and storage fees.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 143. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Every member had an opportunity to record their vote. Clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 117 having voted in favor and 5 against the passage of Senate Bill 143, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2176 by the Committee on Local Government, an act concerning cities relating to the vacation or exclusion of territory or easements, providing procedure to challenge certain decisions of a city.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2176. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Representative Heiberger votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 120 having voted in favor and 2 against passage of House Bill 2176, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action for the day. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 142 by the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, an act concerning wildlife parks and recreation relating to boating and water activities, requiring personal flotation devices as prescribed by the Secretary of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism and rules and regulations.
This constitutes final action on Senate Bill 142. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? Clerk will close the roll. Representative O'Hobbesome votes aye. Representative Featherston Representative Featherston votes aye. Does any member desire to explain their vote? Does any member desire to change their vote? Seeing none, 104. Representative Thomas votes no. Representative Carpenter votes no. Blake Carpenter. Representative Hubert votes no. Are there any further changes of vote? Seeing none, 102 having voted in favor and 20 against the passage of Senate Bill 142, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Reports of standing committees, the clerk will read.
Committee on Appropriations recommends Senate Bill 159 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Appropriations recommends Senate Bill 16 be passed, and because the committee is of the opinion that both the non-controversial nature be placed on the consent calendar. Committee on Education recommends Senate Bill 185 be passed. Committee on Education recommends Senate Bill 51 be passed. Committee on Education recommends House Bill 2301 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 60 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 4 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 204 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 122 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 172 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends House Concurrent Resolution 5014 be adopted. Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 283 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Federal and State Affairs recommends House Bill 2408 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Transportation recommends Senate Bill 127 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Transportation and Public Safety Budget recommends House Bill 2363 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Calendar and Printing recommends on requests for resolutions and certificates that requests by Representatives Finch, Baker, Carlin, Ohabotham, and Neely be approved, and the Chief Clerk of the House be directed to order the printing of said certificates and the drafting of said resolution.
Speaker recognizes the Majority Leader for a motion to adopt the Calendar and Printing Report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move adoption of the Calendar and Printing Report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion carries. Are there announcements? Representative Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And for Democrats, we will have Thursday Summit. You can pick up your lunch in my office, 451 South. And I would say give us about 10 minutes, please, and then get on Zoom and meet with Secretary Lorenz. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Representative Woodard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Democrats, we will have agenda on Monday at 9:30 a.m. Monday at 9:30 a.m. via Zoom. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Newland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rural Caucus, we will have a meeting here in just a little bit. Lunches will be provided in the first floor north wing. I see that a few of you have already had your lunch, but the others can go ahead and pick them up. Thank you.
Representative Prayle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Transportation, we will be meeting today at 1:30, our regular room. 1:30, regular room for House Transportation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, Speaker recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Republicans, we will have calendar on Monday at 9:30 a.m. For the body, we'll plan on being here Monday at 10:30 a.m. for session, just for your planning purposes. Mr. Speaker, I move the House adjourn until Friday March 26th, pro forma.
Before we call on that motion, 2 additional announcements. Representative Ron Highland will replace Representative Blake Carpenter on the Fed and State Affairs Committee tomorrow, Friday, March 26th, for that day only. And Representative Lindsey Vaughn will replace Representative Stephanie Clayton on the House Taxation Committee Thursday, March 25th, for that day only. Representative Vic Miller will replace Representative Casey Hobson on the House Judiciary Committee Thursday, March 25th, for that day only. You've heard the motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The House stands adjourned.